I want to leave, we want to leave you with a final question. Our time is nearly up. For Jackie and for Jess, what's the big coaching question that leaders should be asking themselves at this time? Because then we can leave this question with those who have been with us. So get your pens ready to write this question down for yourself. What's the big coaching questions that leaders should be asking themselves at this time? Who wants to start? Put a hand up if you want to start.
Shall I go?
Yeah, go for it.
What's my legacy? What's the difference I want to make in this world? And actually, that is a big question. You know, what's my legacy, and what's tied up in that? You know, what's really important to me? What's the change I want to see? What's the change I want to be? Is all tied up in that. And I think as a leader, when you get clear about what it is that is really important, what it is that you really do want to leave behind, it changes the course of your actions. So that's the question, I would say, one of the most important question for leaders to be asking themselves.
Yeah, thank you. It's a big question that I'm sure people were reflecting on for many days to come, but such an important one. Yeah, to be able to look back at your life and know that you've made a difference. Even asking yourself when you're making each decision, will I look back and be proud of that decision? Is so important. Thank you. Great question. Jackie.
My question is building on what I shared about David White and that fabulous quote from the priest, is where and how can I be more wholehearted in my life right now? To me, I woke up with a smile on my face this morning. There are mornings when I wake up with just complete gratitude. Doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I had it this morning and I noticed it and I wrote it down in my journal. Why? Because I was going to be here in the company of two wonderful women who, you know, I knew that I was going to be joined by equally wonderful women and men in the chat. And I knew that this was part of me doing work that I love and I enjoy, and which energizes and reminds me of why we're alive right now. You know, and it's that question of, with the time that we have, it's really building, it's so connected to Jess's question around the legacy, is the wholeheartedness, it's almost like the content of the legacy. It's what kicks the legacy in, it's what makes it alive, it's what gives it its color and its pictures and its juiciness. If we can keep asking ourselves that question, God, you know, we're going to be irresistible. Gosh, we're going to be compelling. Gosh, you know, whatever, we're going to have, our superpowers are going to come into being. And, you know, organizations need that right now. They need us. They need our leadership. They need us to show up whole and fully ourselves. What and where can I be wholehearted right now?
Wonderful, wonderful. And we're getting some lovely comments for people about it being uplifting and that they're getting a lot from our conversation. I have a question as well, so I'll leave you with a question too. And my question is, in a world of short-term thinking, how can I embrace the long game? I think we're always thinking about now. What do we need to do now? What do I need to do next? All of these tiny steps you're making lead to creating something huge. And so much of what we're doing is about this year, this month, this government, this semester. Actually, there's a long game that we are embracing here. And if you consider that long game, then those tiny steps that you're making each day will get you there. But if you're only thinking about today, you're going nowhere. So how, in a world of short-term thinking, how can I embrace the long game? And it's a good question for us to hold. You know, Eastern philosophy is never about now. It's always about into the future, the stepping stones to building and creating our success. This instant gratification that we're seeking all the time, it's unsatisfactory. Embrace that long game. Thank you all so much. Our time is up. There's so much in terms of themes and around leadership: resilience, creativity, relationships, boundaries, vulnerability, compassion, empathy, good listening, trust at every level, wholeheartedness, inclusion,